I like to call myself one who is love personified because I have been loved with a love that is so pure. Emotional intelligence showed me that you can do all three: love other people, love yourself, and preserve whatever you share. It's a skill set that is not just it's something that you should not do without. Love your neighbor as yourself. It means that you must first love yourself before you love your neighbors.
So if you have on this hand emotional intelligence and on this other hand you have your experience, which will you say outweigh each other?
Fantastic. So emotional intelligence is an enabler. It enables your skill, or it enables your technical skill. It enables you perform better on your technical skills. Imagine you with very high skill sets, right, or technical skill sets, and low emotional intelligence, and then you happen to, let's play it into the personalities, you happen to be a choleric. You know what that means?
Yes.
It means that every other person should go to hell.
Yeah.
Because we're constantly craving connection, constantly craving connections. With emotional intelligence, you're able to not just find a connection but keep the connection. With Gen Zs, it is the meaning we give to their behaviors. The alphas are here and they're going to be in the workspace soon. You think the Gen Zs ask a lot of questions? Maybe you don't have an alpha. Wait for them. They question everything. You are angry, they question it.
Who are you angry?
Yes. So who has the right? Can you ask your mother why are you angry about it? We must learn to communicate assertively. Assertive communication, like we said, like we pointed out earlier, is you hearing what I'm saying without feeling what I'm feeling. So the only thing I would tell my young self would be preserve yourself, as well as you're preserving other people, preserve yourself. So, and then I'll say to myself, be so kind to yourself.
Welcome to Beyond the Boardroom, the podcast where we explore the depths of personal growth. I'm your host, Alexis Beckers, and each week I bring you inspiring conversation with expert guests who share their insights on mindset, self-development, and living your best life. Whether you are looking to elevate your career, boost your charisma in leadership, or find your purpose, you are in the right place. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you hit that subscription button, like, share, and don't miss out on every amazing episode. And with that said, let's dive in and go beyond the boardroom together. Before we start, I always start with something which is one message that you have. And for you, what would you say is your own message? Because I believe that everyone in this earth are called to do something. They're called to fulfill a purpose, one way or the other, even as little as possible. So, what is your own message that you're called to give to the world?
Lots of love. Lots of love. So I like to call myself one who is love personified because I have been loved with a love that is so pure, right? So I love to give it unconditionally. I love to, even if you don't hear me speak, let my smile be something you go home with. So I like to make people feel special because people are actually special. So a lot of love. I've been called to give a lot of love, and I try to give it unconditionally. That's one prayer I pray every day. I pray to love people even more every day. So yes,
That's really profound.
a lot of love.
that's new. That's new. First time I'm hearing that actually, but it's beautiful. Now, Stella, let's begin with a personal journey with you. I know you are an emotional intelligence expert, but at first, when do you realize that emotional intelligence is what you want to do?
So I'd say that it started when I met with Coach Sam Obafemi, right? Before then, my background would not let me act erratically because I grew up as a first girl. I literally murdered my 6 other siblings.
You're not hearing the background.
Can you hear me? So I grew up as the first girl, and then I literally murdered 6 of my siblings. So it means that I cannot act erratically. I cannot act irrationally. So meeting Coach Sam put a name to what the skill set I had that I needed to hone, right? So emotional intelligence is a skill set that it's not just it's something that you should not do without, right? So I needed to hone that skill set. When I was able to put a name to that skill set, I decided to hone it. So I decided to grow it because over the years it has helped me relate better with people. It has helped me. So because I'm the first girl, it means that I should love other people before I love myself, right? So, but emotional intelligence showed me that you can do all three: love other people, love yourself, and preserve whatever you share. So that was when I knew that there was a name to this thing, but I needed to do it better. So that was when John 3:16 made sense to me. Love your neighbor as yourself. It means that you must first love yourself before you love your neighbors, right? So I had to learn to preserve myself, preserve other people, and then preserve whatever binds us.
So it was something that was inside of you,
I think it's inborn. Everyone has a bit of it.
emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Sometimes it doesn't feel that way.
Because so you see, until I met with the person who teaches it, until I met with the person who had a name for it, who already knew what it was, I didn't know it had a name. I didn't know it was something very abstract I couldn't relate with. But meeting him, going the journey, this is 10 years afterwards, and I'm glad I took that journey.
And tell me, do you think that emotional intelligence matters most in our today's society?
So we're in a very fast moving societal world. The world is fast paced now. So it means that people are constantly preoccupied with a lot of things, right? And then their soul is constantly seeking connections. Emotional intelligence helps you helps you preserve a relationship for as long as you want it. We say that with emotional intelligence, you can preserve a relationship for a lifetime, right? So it means that because we're constantly craving connections, with emotional intelligence, you're able to not just find a connection but keep the connection. So yes, emotional intelligence is a necessary skill. It's not just a skill, it's a life skill. It's like learning to swim because you don't know when you need it, right? It's like, so it's not a hat, it's not a certification, or it's not a hat you wear today and say, oh, let me take it off and wear the hat of a counselor. Let me take it off and wear the hat of a therapist. No, it's a life skill. It's something you use, you live every day with. So every day you encounter people, every day you encounter situations, every day you encounter, it demands a different level of emotional intelligence.
So if you have on this hand emotional intelligence and on this other hand you have your experience, which will you say outweigh each other?
Fantastic. So emotional intelligence is an enabler. It enables your skill, or it enables your technical skill. It enables you perform better on your technical skills. So they go hand in hand. So there's none that outweighs each other and the other. But with emotional intelligence, you have 95% at performing best with your technical skill.
So here is me with little experience but high on emotional intelligence, and here is me on high experience but low on emotional intelligence. Which will you pick?
So you with high emotional intelligence means that you're teachable, you can learn, you're adaptable, you are very flexible. We say the most flexible person in a room is the most powerful person. So because you have emotional intelligence, I need you to learn Corel Draw, right?
Yeah.
You're flexible enough to adapt to a new set of rules or a new set of environments or a new set of anything, because you are adaptable with your high emotional intelligence. But on the other hand, you with very high experience or skill sets or technical skills with low emotional intelligence means that you can be very rigid, right? You constantly seek your way. You constantly seek a particular, because this is all I know. This is all I want to work with. So it's either this or that, right? And then you realize that, imagine you with very high skill sets, right? Or technical skill sets and low emotional intelligence. And then you happen to, let's play it into the personalities. You happen to be a choleric. You know what that means? It
Yes.
means that every other person should go to hell.
Yeah.
Right? You are not going to bother about what people think, how they feel. What so it's either it has to be your way. It has to be your way or the highway. So you see why emotional intelligence is necessary to strike a balance with your technical skills.
Yeah. So let's see it on a personal note now.
Okay.
Was there a personal moment when emotional intelligence changed the outcome of situation for you?
It does almost all the time. Almost all the time. Because with emotional intelligence, you learn negotiation skill. Right? With emotional intelligence, you tend to see other people's perspective. So it's not just you. You're self-aware enough to know that, okay, this thing that Alexis is doing to me is causing me this list of emotions. I'm feeling very agitated. I'm feeling nervous. I'm feeling so way, right? But now, what does self-regulation say? Self-regulation says you know the name of the emotion. What do you want to do with it? How will it influence your behavior or your attitude towards the other person? When we say emotional intelligence, we also talk communication, right? The science of communication says people hear 55% of your body language. Emotional intelligence says empathy helps you see other people's perspective. So I am seeing your perspective. You're reading my body language. You're understanding that I am not standing on a particular ideology and saying it has to be this way or no other way. But I'm seeing your perspective. You know that I'm actually seeing your perspective genuinely. And then I'm saying, okay. This is your perspective. This is my perspective. This is what the other perspectives are, right? Let's find the balance. So emotional intelligence has always worked for me. The moment I begin to act as though I want to be rigid about a situation or rigid about a decision, you see that everybody kicks back. There's usually a kickback. But with emotional intelligence, it's like, okay, everybody comes to the table. There's a personality type that they will say that usually has the highest percentage when it comes to emotional intelligence. They call them the phlegmatics because they're people oriented.
Yeah.
Right? And then they don't like problem. They don't want no chaos. Let's just be at peace. But even with that, you still need to hone that skill set. Now imagine somebody who is a choleric like me, a choleric sanguine who needs to. I needed to do something about it. So I needed to grow that skill set. So yes, emotional intelligence is a no-brainer. It's a necessary life skill that everybody should have because it actually changes every situation. It changes things. Yeah, it does.
Some people tag emotional intelligence as being soft, just soft. You have emotional intelligence means that you are soft. And sometimes if you are someone in a corporate environment, it comes off like you're not capable, you're not strong enough to lead. So what do you have to say on that?
Okay, so that's the confusion. People think that emotional intelligence says I have to bend to everybody's rule. No. The emotional intelligence is as flexible as I am. I have to be stern, right? So I went to the airport today, and then the cost of trying to board my mom's younger sister, the immigration man said something. I didn't speak to him. The only thing I said to him was good morning, and then he said something to me. The first impulse, the first thing my colleague said to me was, tell him off, right? Just say something to him that so that he understands that you don't just see people and speak to them the way you want to speak to them. But I had to tell myself that if I do that, whichever way I take it, I may never see him again, right? So I had to leave an impression. I had to tell him, no, that's not what I mean. This is what it is. And this is why I acted this way. So I have passed the message, but I had to say it in a way that he doesn't feel disrespected or doesn't feel belittled. Emotional intelligence just says, as much as lies within your power, make sure that you leave the other person feeling intact, whole. So I'm not shredding you, I'm not taking you apart. So if I, as an employer of labor, or I, as an employee, decides that I want to go the route of emotional intelligence, it means that if I take a decision, I must allow Alexis' opinion count as well. Even though I know that this is the decision I have taken. I have decided that I'm going to wear a blue dress tomorrow. It's okay for Alexis to say, how about considering powder blue? Somebody's saying, oh, how about considering? I'm listening to your opinions, but I'm going to also make you see reasons why I have to wear blue, right? I'm making you see reasons why I should wear blue. Does it mean that I am trying to bend to you, or does it mean I'm trying to seek your validation? No. It means that I'm trying to show you that your opinion counts. I hear you, I see you. However, these are my reasons for wearing this. These are my reasons for taking this decision. So when they say emotional intelligence makes you soft, it's because we stop at self-awareness. Self-awareness alone is not enough.
Oh,
No. Self-awareness, self-regulation. Some people call it self-control. Some people call it self-management. Some scholars. Self-awareness is not enough. So when you add self-awareness, self-regulation, or self-control, or self-management, whichever you call it, it gives you self-mastery. Self-mastery says, I'm stern enough to know what I want. I know that there is the time to joke, and there's a time to play, and there's a time to actually work. If we ask the people I work with, they would not tell you that I am very low on emotional intelligence. No. But they will tell you that I play a lot. But as much as I play, I preserve them, and I preserve myself, and I preserve what binds us. That's what emotional intelligence is. So if you stop at self-preservation or stop at people preservation, you're still low on emotional intelligence. You still need to grow that skill set. So if you say emotional intelligence equals soft, I beg to disagree. Emotional intelligence means I am self-aware enough to know that I can regulate my emotion and ensure that it doesn't affect you, but I'm able to influence you to see that this is the reason why I'm doing this. With emotional intelligence, I can sell ice to the Eskimos, right?
Yeah.
I can convince them to buy my ice, even though they actually are the ones that should sell ice to me. But that's emotional intelligence. People relationship. Maya Angelou said, people may forget what you do to them. They may forget what you say to them, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Emotional intelligence says, as much as you're preserving yourself, preserve them and preserve what binds you.
yeah. So, what will you say people lack most in our today's world? You give the example of the security person. What will you say they lack most? Will you say they lack self-awareness or they lack emotional intelligence? Which of these? Because you just bring my eye to see that they are both different.
So they're not. Self-awareness is a pillar in emotional intelligence.
Okay.
So if you ask me what they lack most, it will be maybe the skill set called emotional intelligence. Everyone needs to grow it. That's doing it intentionally. If you want to grow your skill set when it comes to emotional intelligence, you need to be deliberate about it. You need to be able to ask yourself per second, what am I feeling now? How am I feeling? When I say ask questions like, is a hungry man an angry man? I'll ask my audience, is a hungry man an angry man?
A hungry man is an angry man.
Exactly. A hungry man is not an angry man. A hungry man is a hungry man. An angry man is an angry man. A hungry man is hungry. Go and eat. So you see me, I came into the studio. Did you know if I have eaten today? Do you know if I'm eating today?
No.
Do you know if I'm hungry?
No.
So if I come here feeling the way I'm feeling and then I begin to throw a tantrum, you're going to be asking me, what's wrong with you? Because you're not aware what I am going through. But I know what I'm going through, right? So I should deal with my emotion. Emotional intelligence just makes it look like you're more matured. But when you start on that journey to self-awareness or to emotion, to understanding what emotions are, it now looks like every other person. You have to think for every other person.
Yeah.
Right? It looks like you're thinking for every you now look like the soft person. But actually, it's a journey. You get to a point where you realize that, okay, this is what I'm feeling, and then I shouldn't allow what I'm feeling affect what I'm supposed to do or the people in my life. So a hungry man is a hungry man. An angry man is an angry man. They are two separate feelings. Deal with them individually.
Yeah. So, for many young Nigerians struggling with frustration, because this you see a lot, the frustration, like you said, the hungry man is an angry man. You will go to the streets, please leave me alone. I'm very, very, very angry at this point. What emotional intelligence practice can help manage our own emotion?
First, it's identifying what you're feeling. First is identifying what you're feeling. We are constantly looking for who to blame for a situation we find ourselves. Everything that happens outside of you is outside of you. You have little or no control over it. The way people look at you, the way people smile at you, the way people don't smile at you, the way people treat you is totally outside of your control. What is within your control is how you interpret those events. So you see a person who is probably very angry, ask the person, why are you angry? Oh, Tinubu did this. Oh, the president did this. Oh, the governor didn't do that. What have you done to preserve yourself in all of this? What have you really, really done? What have you paid attention to? Do you even know what you're feeling now? Or every day you constantly allow your body emit a lot of hormones that shouldn't even be in your system. And then you realize that at the end of the day, you see young people coming up with several kinds of illnesses that, of course, wasn't common in the last 10 years with young people. So you see young people with high blood pressure, blood pressure, diabetes, and then the likes. There's some of these diseases or some of these illnesses that could actually be prevented once you identify the emotion you're feeling per time. If you constantly have the feeling of we have those strong emotions, say anger, sadness, gloom, you constantly feel those very strong emotions, and then your body is constantly working to stabilize your heart rate, working to stabilize your, because when you feel these emotions, a lot of things happen. Some of us have sweaty palms, palpitations, headaches, and the likes, right? When your body has to constantly work to stabilize these things, you're doing yourself a disservice. It is knowing what you're feeling per time. First, start by identifying the emotion you're feeling. What am I feeling? How is it affecting my behavior? How is it affecting the people around me? I beg, leave me, I be hungry. It's okay. Your hunger is valid. Whatever you feel is very valid. But don't let it affect the other person. That way, you're not preserving the other person.
You're preserving yourself.
Yes. So when we say things like, as I dey feel am, make you dey feel am.
Give them as they hot.
That is very low emotional intelligence. It's either low or lack, right?
Yeah.
Because assertive communication, emotional intelligence says, I make you hear what I feel, but I don't make you feel what I feel. So you hear that I am angry. You hear that everything you did yesterday or you did a couple of minutes ago or you're currently doing is affecting me. You hear it, but I'm not making you feel what I feel. But you see here, you see in this part of the world, as I dey feel and you go dey feel am.
It was surprising to hear that you said every one of us have emotional intelligence, but yet you come across some people which are mature in age, if that's the thing that builds emotional intelligence, then you now notice that I will say that they don't have it at all, let alone lack it. They don't have it. So how can you now grow your emotional intelligence? I know you mentioned deliberate, but knowing that you have it, another thing is now deliberate. How do you now do that deliberately?
Ask yourself basic questions. So how you treat me, is it how you treat every other person? How you treat a wealthy man, is that how you treat a pauper? How you treat a colleague that you don't report to, is that how you treat a colleague you report to? So these things matter. These things show how much of your emotional intelligence you're honing or you're growing. This shows how much of your that skill set you're growing. So aside identifying it, because I said everyone has emotional intelligence, it's inherent. It means that you can grow it. Because if for a person you love, you make all the excuses. So you make an excuse for yourself. You make an excuse for the person you really love, your family members, and you preserve the family. Say, make no, let's not fight. Let's make sure that there is peace in the land, right? If you can do that for your family, it means that there's a bit of emotional intelligence in you. So it means that if you grow that skill set, you can do it for every other person you meet, every other person you meet on the road, every other person you work with, every other person you come across. You can do that for them. So it just means changing your perspective and seeing every other person as valuable, seeing every other person as they matter, because it's not as though they matter, because they actually matter.
Yeah.
They might not necessarily matter to you, but they matter to someone, right? So aside identifying what you're feeling, ask yourself questions like, is this very functional? Is it affecting me in a certain way? Is it advantageous to me, or is it a disadvantage to me or to the people in my life? How can I make sure that what I am feeling does not affect my relationship and does not affect what I share, what does not affect the person I am in conversation with, right? And then you ask yourself questions like, if I'm feeling this, what would I rather feel? That emotion you are picking, when was the last time you actually felt that emotion? What happened that made you feel that emotion? What can happen now to make you feel that emotion? Before you're done asking yourself a lot of questions, before you're done with the introspections, you see that you begin to feel better. Everything that happens outside of you, you have little or no control over. What you have control over is your interpretation of that thing that is happening. That's one thing everybody needs to learn. The interpretation meaning you give to that thing that is happening, will influence how you feel and how you begin to act. So it's your interpretation that matters in all of this. If when I walked in, I probably was wearing a frown, your interpretation says Stella is not happy to be here. That's your interpretation.
Yeah.
But if you go ahead to say, how are you? And I say, oh, I had to drive. I actually drove to Q Mall. So, right? So imagine after driving and then I get stopped by someone or something shall happens on the road. And then I come here with that emotion, feeling that way. And then you look at me and say, she's not happy to be here. Lots of other events have happened. This is totally outside of your control. So what you can control, control. What you can't control, release.
It's safe to say that sometimes one of the people that lack emotional intelligence are usually found in high top position in the society. The people that lack emotional intelligence are found in high top position. Now, would you say that is a good thing or it's a bad thing?
I'm going to say that there's no proven facts, there's no proven statistics that says people with low emotional intelligence are people high up there. Because again, emotional intelligence, because it's a life skill, it shows in the way we treat the people who cannot give us anything. Right? Who cannot reciprocate the kind of love we give. It just shows how you treat them, or how you are around them, how self-preserving or how other people preserving you are. So there's no statistics to back that. That people who are up there don't have high emotional intelligence. However, as a C-suite or as an employer of labor, or anyone who is in the C-suite category, growing your emotional intelligence shows that you're able to preserve not just the company, but the values of the system. You're also able to keep people and reduce staff turnover, right? Because people don't leave organizations, people leave people. If I constantly have to, so because I want to self-preserve, if I have an employer who is constantly shouting down the roof every day I come to work, and I realize that before I come to work, I'm thinking, I'm worried, I'm definitely going to leave the job. I'm not leaving the job because I don't like my job. I'm leaving the job because of the person who is constantly making me feel a certain way in the place of work, right? So it is advisable that every C-suite executive and every CEO or anyone who employs labor grows their emotional intelligence to reduce staff turnover, because it helps you keep and preserve relationships. People begin to liken you to Christ, right? So you might not necessarily have a relationship with Christ, but they liken you to that very, very good man because they see that you see them, they see that you feel them. So everyone wants to feel seen and heard, right? Everyone wants to feel seen and heard. So they feel that you see them and then you hear them.
Yeah.
So it is a necessary skill for leadership.
Yeah, that's interesting. Now let's talk about some challenges that young people face. Now, what did you ever lose an opportunity due to poor emotional management? And how did that shape you when you figure out that okay, I didn't handle this situation well? And how were you able to come out of it?
Situation when it comes to work and all, I would say no. But when it comes to friendship, I'll say yes.
Okay.
Yes, you know how you throw caution to the wind. I lost a friend that I lost a friendship that I could have preserved. I could have listened to. I could have. So I was too rigid about a decision that I took. So I lost a friendship that. And how did it play out over the years? I beat myself up for a while, and then I told myself, okay, in the coming relationships or in coming friendships, you'll do better. So I had to learn how to preserve people. I had to learn to let go of things that are not within my control. Right? Sometimes people want you to just hear them. They're not looking for advice. Sometimes people just want you to, they just want to rant. They just want a safe space, a place where they can just vent and vent and vent without you necessarily adding. Sometimes they don't want you to advise them. So I think that was when I crossed my boundaries. So again, I had to learn that and I learned it the hard way. So yeah.
So how do you get to figure out that boundary when you just mentioned true? I had a friend of mine, female, which sometimes when she comes up with me with some challenges and everything, she knows that I know that we both know what needs to be done. But however, and being a man that I am or a person that I am, I'm like, you know what to do. Why are you telling me what you need to do? How do you now identify that thin line of just you mentioned something, people want to be heard and they want to be seen. How do you now identify that line of when that person needs to just be heard and just be seen?
So when you ask the right questions, you will say it. When someone comes up to you and then is venting, and then person is waiting for you to say something, you can ask a question like, would you want me to say something? Would you want me to give you my own perspective? It's your perspective, it's not theirs. So it is either for them, it is left to them to take it or leave it. Right? So when you ask the right questions, even in the way they vent, you will know that they know what to do. They don't want you to answer or to give your opinion. Some people don't want your opinion. They just want you to just be there, just listen. Active listening. When people know when you're listening, people know when you're not listening.
Mm.
Yes. People know when you're listening, people know when you're not listening. That's why we say that when it comes to communication, people listen, people hear 95 and 55% of your body language more than they hear what you say. What you say is just 7%. They hear more of what you're not saying than what you're saying. So if you listen actively, you will know when somebody wants you to give your opinion or give your perspective or not, or just be a safe space.
That statistics, is it like a general statistics?
Yes, it is.
Or it's just a
No.
female and male?
No. It's shown. It's proven that people hear 55% of your body language, 38% of your tone, the tonality, and then 7% of your word. That's what the science of communication says.
Okay. Now let's break it down to something. Let's do some stats. Between a male and a female, who will you say has more emotional intelligence, or it's just on a balanced ground?
This is very dicey. We can't genderize it. If there's any word like that, we can't put it in genders. Again, your upbringing, your environment, and your significant emotional experiences shapes you.
Your upbringing, how is
Your
that?
upbringing. If you grew up in a family where expression of anger was a theme, you'd realize that is how you act because it looks like a norm. Your environment, if you grew up in a space where, say, you probably grew up in Lagos State, or then you now decide that you would work with people from Jos, You know what that means? You're going to constantly speak on very high pitch, especially if you grew up in a very noisy place, a noisy area in Lagos. That's your environment. If you grew up in an environment where it was okay for people to drink before going to work, it's a norm. If you grew up in an environment where you hear people battering each other, it's a norm, right? You think it's okay.
Yeah.
So you get into the workspace and you think that it's okay for me to hit you. So you hear when we say things like, as much as the things, or as little as the things you say to a person can be sexual abuse, as little as the thing you say to a person can be bullying, right? So, and then when it comes to significant emotional experiences, your interpretation of an event. So you grew up in Lagos, right? You are used to the shouting, raising of voices, waking up at 5 a.m. That's an experience, right? Then you go to Jos, you were posted to Jos, and then you live among your community is too quiet. Sometimes you're wondering, are people living here? Are they alive here? Right? You wake up at 5 and then it looks like if you just come out, you will just go missing or something, right? So that's a shape. It begins to shape your experiences. It begins to shape your emotional experiences. If you, for instance, you got into a relationship with a girl named Stella, right? And then she probably served you breakfast. And you now hear somebody walk into your space and says, "Hi, my name is Stella." That's a significant emotional experience.
Yeah.
So it is left for you to see this person differently or to say, all of you are the same. It's just like we say, Yoruba demons or something.
Yes.
All the Femis are the same, all the Tundes are and you know how we classify them. So that's what happens to you. These three things shape you. And then they show how much of your emotional intelligence you can quickly hone. For instance, I grew up in a home. I would say I grew up in a home. I grew up with a lot of love. So it was easy for me to hone my emotional intelligence, right? So another person might grow up in a very erratic home or a home that is constantly on the high. Such a person might take longer to grow their emotional intelligence because you see that self-talk, it needs to constantly come in. They need to constantly tell themselves that, okay, they need to constantly weigh the options. If I do this, what will happen? If I don't do this, what will happen? If I do this, what will happen? If I don't do this, what will happen? For someone like me, I probably didn't need to do all that. Why? Because I already had it, and I had a man who, my father was not just a disciplinarian, he was very flexible. So imagine having to grow up in that kind of home and coming to terms with the term emotional intelligence. It means that it was easy for me to grow.
So you say that our emotions are birthed from our childhood.
No, everyone can experience the 3,000 emotions available. So right now, psychologists say there are 3,000 emotions available to humans, right? Yes, 3,000 emotions. 1,000 of them are positive biased. 2,000 of them are negative biased, right? They all have names. So everyone can experience any emotion. The only difference is we tend to react the way. So it's a learned behavior. We learn how people respond or react to a particular emotion. We see our fathers react or respond to the emotion hunger with a lot of tantrum, with a lot of strictness, with a lot of bullying. So we think it's a norm. So we act like that. So it's a learned behavior which can be unlearned. Right? So that's what happens with every other emotion. But everyone has the liberty to experience any emotion. Again, what shapes most your predominant emotions are your upbringing, your environment, and your significant emotional experiences.
Yeah.
Everyone has the capacity. So what differentiates you from every other person out there is how you grew up, where you grew up, and your experiences.
Can you share with us like a story where emotional intelligence opened a door that qualification cannot give you?
What I currently do.
Really?
Yes, so I'm a student of economics. I love economics. I want to do statistics. I want to do anything that has to do with calculation. I don't want to do accounting. But I have, so far, I have been in the workspace for almost 20 years now. 20 years this year. At the end of this year, 20 years. I have not really had to use my certificates to get a job. Right? But the moment I begin to interact with you, the moment I begin to share my perspectives with life, with work, with people, with you tend to connect with me.
Yeah.
One of the advantages I have again is that I'm a sanguine. Sanguines are people oriented. They carry a charm. So even if you don't like them, you still find a way to like them.
Yeah.
Yes, they're like the flags. So, but we are the noisier ones. We're the ones who are out there. So you just find a way to like us. So I would say that so far, in the last couple of years, especially with coaching, training, meeting people, and getting into spaces that naturally I couldn't find myself in, or I cannot just actually get there without the help of God. Right? Emotional intelligence has played a huge role.
In building
Because-
relationship.
Huge role in preserving them.
Oh.
So not just building. You can transfer your social skills, and then when I get there, I'm able to navigate and preserve. So I had a group of interns come in. We called them holiday. It was a holiday work experience for young people. We had about 15 of them coming. So you know how young people are. They come in with a lot of attitude. So everyone, because of their several upbringings, different upbringings, they came with a lot of attitude. I just told my people, guys, this is where you're going to test your emotional intelligence. Let's see how well we do with them. Because if we're able to keep them together until their last week, it was a 6-week program, until their last week, then we have done well. We've done something different. On the 6th week, they didn't want to go. Right? So you hear them calling their friends and telling them, go to Seka. And then they come to Seka and say, I'm sorry, there's no space. Because we don't have space for a lot of people. So they call their friends. Even I remember that last week someone called and says, a child called them from, I think he's in Canada, that they should send his niece to Seka Africa. Right? Because we help children not just build their technical skills. We help them hone their soft skills. We help them build character. So emotional intelligence has actually been a blessing to me. I'm able to preserve relationships where people say, oh, if you go there, that man is a cruel person. I get there. My conversations with such a person actually paves way. Some people don't want you to talk a lot. So my conversation with you is, I'm coming from the place of emotional intelligence and understanding personalities. I know that some personality types don't sit in front of me and talk so much. So you know where to cut, you know the boundaries, you know when not to talk so much. So emotional intelligence it helps you balance off. Right? Like I said, it's an enabler. It enables you. It helps you preserve relationships. So emotional intelligence is a blessing to me. I'm not supposed to mince the words. Sometimes I just want to throw caution to the wind. I just want to say, well, everybody will be all right.
You'll be all right.
The thing I want to tell you so that I'm going to tell you. But even in telling you, I still try to make sure that you're not feeling less of a person, right? I still show you that you're very valuable, but you're not feeling less of who you are.
Yeah. So the Gen Z generations are known as one of the most outspoken generation out there, and there's a lot of setback that has been with that for the fact that they are outspoken. Now, will you say this your own? Let me get your own take on this. Will you say that Gen Z generation have more emotional intelligence, or how do they have to build their emotional intelligence?
With Gen Zs, it is the meaning we give to their behaviors. They didn't come when some of us came. And then the things that were happening when we came, it's not what is happening now. The world is more fast-paced now. So it is not, you're not going to, so it is the meaning, you're using the eye, your perspective of where you're coming from to judge them, right? You're not going to use the same Gen Z eye or perspective to look at the alphas or the betas,
Yeah.
right? The alphas are here and they're going to be in the workspace soon. You think the Gen Zs ask a lot of questions? Maybe you don't have an alpha. Wait for them. They question everything. You are angry, they question it.
Who are you angry?
Yes. So, who has the right? Can you ask your mother why are you angry about it? But your alpha will ask you why you angry. What's going on? Why are you sad? Can I ask you a question? Whether you say yes or no, they will ask you the question.
That way.
Exactly. So we also, with emotional intelligence, it helps us see them from their own points of view. It's their perspective. It's just like the 6 and 9 perspective.
Yeah.
Where you're standing, it might be a 6. Where I'm standing, it might be a 9.
Yeah.
But does not mean that either of us are wrong.
Yeah.
They are in their own generation. It is for us to be more empathetic towards them and see or hear their perspective, right? Hear their own worldview, because we see the world as we are. We don't see the world as it is, right? So if you begin to see the world as it is, that's you're a baby boomer. You are seeing the world as a baby boomer. My dear, evolve or die. Yes. Yeah, it's either you evolve or die.
Yeah.
I heard my mother say something today to my younger sister. She said, then go collect or something. She said one thing, and my head, I just spined. I'm like, where did you hear that from? My mom is in her 70s. I'm like, or she just said she used one time. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Then go collect.
I just said, where did you hear it from? My sister said from social media. I said, no, it's from you. You are the Gen Z. You are my problem in this house. So you see what I'm saying? We need to begin to be more empathetic towards them.
Yeah.
We have boxed them. We have labeled them. You're labeling them. How many more generations are you going to label? Because the more as they're coming, they're different from you.
Yeah.
They're different from your generation. The moment the young ones in my organization saw that this is a safe space, they opened up. So because you have labeled them, or we have labeled them so much, they build a wall.
Yeah.
And they stay there and they tell you anything you want to do. Anything you want to see.
Yeah.
But the moment you show them that this is a safe space, we can sit and have the conversation. Even if I am not in your generation, it doesn't matter. We can have this conversation. You bring your perspective, it's valid. I bring my perspective, it's valid. We find a balance.
Yeah. Now, talking about safe space, especially let me use the workspace now and also to our own personal life. How can we now build a safe space that accommodates both different people, different temperaments, and also leaving nobody feeling guilty or less of a person? How do we build that?
Empathy. Empathy is different from sympathy.
Yeah.
Empathy is, I hear you, I see you, how can we help? What's the way forward? Sympathy is, oh, I hear you, it is well. So you ask a person, how are you? And the person goes, I'm a bit anxious. And you say it is well.
Sympathy.
It is well is what? Why do you ask me how are you? No, why do you ask me how are you when you know that you're going to say it is well? Yes, I know that part of the Bible that says, say to the righteous it is well. Again, outside that, how else can we help? Right? Empathy says, I see the world also from your perspective. Oh, that's your perspective. It's valid. Validate it. Empathy says, do not invalidate anybody's emotions or their worldview. Right? That's empathy. So we start by showing how empathetic we are. That way, everybody around us lets their guards down. And then when you hear them, when they feel seen and heard, you preserve them. You preserve yourself. And you preserve what binds you. That way, every workspace will be a safe space. As much as we are getting results, it will still be home. So with us, with my organization, we're not a place where we say everything is well. No, everybody collect you. You don't do it right, you take your bus. You don't do it right, you take your bus, right? But in the end, we know that this is home. In my organization, I'm not sure anybody dreads a Monday. We look forward to Monday. We look forward to coming back to work. Even if it's just, and then you see how happy we are. But we achieve, we're getting results. Because no one is allowed to invalidate another person's emotion. No one is allowed to invalidate another person's experience. No one is allowed to invalidate another person's perspective. We are a XYZ alpha in the office. I have an X, Y, Z, and alpha. And you will not know because of the way we relate. But there is mutual respect.
Tell me something, Stella. How do you accommodate? How do you accommodate people' point of view, people's standpoints? I'll give you an example.
Okay.
So I met this person that she has her own point of view, and in her own work ethics, it's done a certain way. She wants it to be done a certain way. Now, for me, that doesn't
Work for you.
work for me. How can I relate it to her to know that it doesn't work for me?
So again, I hear you.
Mm.
So let's assume you're the person. I hear you. I see you. I understand that if we do it this way, you see how you're following it. If we do it this way, we're actually going to get this result, right?
Mm.
Excuse me. We're actually going to get this result, right? But if we also consider doing it this way, we can get this result. So how about we do it this way this time, and then we try it this other way? That way we'll see, and then we can compare notes. So whichever is smarter, we can work with. How about that? That's a conversation. I've just had a conversation with you. But if we constantly seek our own good, if we constantly seek that it has to be done our way, I think, was it Henry Ford? No, it wasn't Henry Ford. One of the scholars said, seek to understand before you seek to be understood. Steve Covey. Steve Covey said, seek to understand before you seek to be understood. Stephen Covey, the man who wrote the 7 effective ways of highly highly effective people. Yes. He says, seek to understand before you seek to be understood. We are constantly seeking for people to understand us. You need to understand me. You need to understand. Have we also taken the backseat to say, okay, let me even understand your perspective. Let me know why you're acting this way. Most of these things come from, when you grew up in a space where you probably you had to struggle to be heard, and you suddenly become a boss in an organization. Of course, everything you say, you want everybody to adhere to, right? That's where empathy comes in. I'm trying to understand your perspective. Oh, I see. Okay. Can we try this other way? Communication. We must learn to communicate assertively. Assertive communication, like we said, like we pointed out earlier, is you hearing what I'm saying without feeling what I'm feeling. Right? I start a conversation with assertive communication does not start with a you, it starts with an I. You start such conversations with I think, or I feel, I believe. It's an I. Because if I start a conversation with a you, your wall will grow taller than this. Because you just think that this person wants to accuse me of something I did not do. Assertive communication says, I hear you. I see you. This is how I feel. And this is how what you're doing is making me feel. It's a lot of work, especially when the person has annoyed you so much. Yeah. It's a lot of work. When you think that this person is constantly seeking their way, it's a lot of work. But you must learn to communicate it. Emotional intelligence looks like a lot of work, but when you start on the journey, you're able to sleep better at night.
Knowing that you harm nobody.
You're able to sleep better at night because you sleep lighter. Right? Your day closes well. Actually, you sleep lighter. In the end, really.
So let me ask you.
Yeah.
So looking back, what has emotional intelligence taught you about your own leadership and your own self-identity?
Thank you. So you see, my personality type is a choleric. It means that it's either my way or the highway. Yeah. Right? It means that
your way or the highway.
This building can come down with a shout. It means that I can burn this place down, right? Yeah. Without caring about anybody. But emotional intelligence says, Stella, you're not an island. You need people in your life. You want to love, you want to be loved. You need people to do these. If you want to show love, it's not people you love.
Yeah.
Even if I love this plant, we still grow, and one day we still die. Abi?
Yeah.
It has shown me that as much as my personality type is the highway or the my way or the highway, I also need to understand that everyone wants to be heard, everyone wants to be seen. Because I have been in situations where I wasn't heard or seen, and I know how it made me feel. Right? So it has shown me that I can not just I don't have to just be a leader. I can also be a manager. Right? I can be a leader and just keep showing you the way, dishing out instructions. But I can be a manager to say, how are you, Alexis? How was work? How was your family? Do you think you're able to perform this, and that task within the short time? What are the things that can likely hinder your performance? Right? I'm able to see through you. I'm able to show you that I see you. So, emotional intelligence has shown my flaws with my personality and has helped me manage them better.
Well, why does it feel like people that have high emotional intelligence are usually considered being taken for granted? I'll give you an example. If you walk into a bank and you are trying to resolve a conflict or resolve something, and you are subtle, you're understanding, you're taking due process in resolving your issue, it seems like you don't really get, and I'm talking about where we stand right now. It seems like you don't really get what you want until you raise the roof, until you make a scene, and immediately you make a
It
scene,
looks like everything is dissolved.
it looks like everything gets dissolved instantly. So is that the right way to do it? Because it's looking like people that has emotional intelligence are not getting what they want.
Okay, I have emotional intelligence and I'm getting what I want.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is that sometimes it looks like it.
I get
Because
you.
you walk into, let me give you an example also. Second example, you're having a challenge and the representative, the customer service you're talking to, is speaking to them softly and said, okay, I have this issue. How can you resolve this? How can you resolve it? It seems like there's an issue that dragging feet in respect to solving the issue. But the moment you make a noise, it seems like everything is all tidy up. Okay, how can we help? How can we help? So is that the right
Of
approach?
course, we know it is not. Of course, we know it is not. So I went to a restaurant, and then my sister would say, if you are looking for someone to complain about a food or complain about service, call Stella. That's what my sister would say. Well, I don't know what that means, but again, when I go to a restaurant, because I am big on customer service, right? So imagine me being big on customer service and having to experience the most annoying waiters and waitresses.
Yeah.
I don't want to speak to you. I want to speak to your supervisor, right? I don't want to speak to you. And then I will insist on speaking to your supervisor, right? So I was in the bank. When I was in the bank, there was a customer who walks in, and then after a bit of back and forth, he slapped my colleague. And then, of course, you know that we can't reciprocate. We can't give it back. We can't. That's as far back as 2005, 2008. I can't give it back. So, good thing is that we had a good operations head, who was able to step in and, yes, did the needful, closed his accounts, asked him to leave. Sha found a way to embarrass him. And yes, as much as the staff felt less of himself, he still felt seen.
Yeah.
But the man went home feeling a certain way.
Yeah.
So it's one of two things. He's either going to go back and do it again to another person, or he's going to go back and feel so embarrassed, right? And feel so ashamed of himself, right? That's one of two things. But in both of them, we didn't make him feel seen or heard. This is resolvable. We could have actually resolved it amicably by either having it, both of them sit down and then showing the man reasons why his action was too extreme. And then getting him to see that this person could actually be someone valuable to you. You wouldn't slap the person, right? That's the communication thing. Again, when it comes to this part of the world we're in, preserve yourself. Don't let another person make you be something that you're not. Don't let another person make you act a way that you're not. If you're not a sanguine, let's assume you're a phlegmatic who's very in and reserved and
Yeah. People
and
easy
then
going.
you allow a sanguine like me make you scream. You're losing your person to me. Right? So don't allow any person make you be less of who you are. I'm not going to be a phlegmatic because I want to collect your tablets. No. I'm going to speak to you as a sanguine and collect your tablets. It is understanding the power of emotional intelligence, understanding of the power that I carry. So if I'm in a situation where I need to raise my voice, it's because I am not a reserved person. But if I raise my voice, I will ensure that I am saying what you need to hear.
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't hear it clearly. I want you to hear it, but I'm not going to make you feel less of a person, right? I'm not going to make you feel less of a person. I need to speak to your supervisor, right? I'm not going to curse you. I'm not going to curse the work you're doing. I'm going to insist on seeing your supervisor. I'm being stern on what I want. That's what I want. I don't want to speak to you anymore.
Yeah.
I want to speak to your supervisor. I remember when I went to a restaurant, I'm not going to call the name of the restaurant, and then the waiter he actually felt maybe I was looking very quiet. Maybe I look quiet, right, audience? And then he thought I was quiet, and then he literally, so the menu he gave me was different from the menu he brought after for payment.
Yeah.
So apparently the restaurant had just changed their menu, but they did not remove the old menu, but he brought the old menu. So I knew what I wanted. I knew the cost of what I wanted. And he brought a receipt that was way above what I wanted, what I ordered for. And then he insisted that that was the menu he gave me. When I raised my voice, I needed to see the supervisor. I made sure that I didn't curse him, but I made sure that what I wanted, I got. Yes.
Yeah.
So this was the menu you gave me, and I want it back. So again, it is knowing the power you carry and knowing that in all of this, I am preserving myself, preserving Alexis, and preserving that which binds us.
Yeah.
In all of these, we are self-preserving. So we're not preserving other people over us. We're not preserving ourselves over other people.
That was profound, Stella. I usually say that before we are anything, we are humans first.
That's it. That's it.
Before
the race, the religion, the tribe, everything, we're first humans. Yeah. When a child is born, you don't say, "Oh, an Igbo child is born. Oh, a Yoruba child is born." No.
Yeah.
You say a child is born.
Thank you so much, Stella. So my last question before I allow you to go is, if you could mentor your younger self, what's one lesson about emotions would you emphasize?
Ooh, it will be, don't preserve other people over you. Yes. So because I mentioned when I started, I grew up as an Ada. It means that I had to preserve every other person in the family. I had to make sure that every other person was fine. And then I cry in my closet. So the only thing I would tell my young self would be, preserve yourself, as well as you're preserving other people, preserve yourself. So, and then I'll say to myself, be so kind to yourself. Don't give so much of what you don't have.
And don't promise what you don't have to.
So when it comes to promises, no, I'm not a big promiser. I don't make a lot of promises. But you know, when you go out of your way for people, and I knew how it affected me. I knew how it caused some delays, and then so I just knew how it affected me. So that's one thing I'll tell my younger self. Preserve yourself as much as you're preserving other people.
Yeah. I heard a quote that says, while you pour on everyone, don't forget to pour on yourself.
Yes. Yes. So we love people without filling our cups. Then we run out of it. Then we become angry or resentful. Right? We become angry and resentful towards this person. You see their calls, you don't want to pick it again. You're saying you want to, even if there was a time I told my siblings that even if I die, even if I lie down flat, you're going to say I'm not flat enough.
Yeah.
Right? So you see that, because I had gotten it to my peak. Yeah. So what I'm going to say to my younger self is, preserve yourself as much as you're preserving other people.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you
Alex.
so much. This
Thank
was
you.
really, really, really great.